as I was not inclined to stub my eyes out. Hello everyone, I'm Zuzka, the Craftsy penguin, and it's time to talk about the corrective eye surgery that I had recently. Grab yourself a snack and a drink. This one is going to be a long one. I also, probably for the first time ever, have a script ready for this video, so if you feel like I'm reading this to you, I actually am. It's right behind the camera over there, so excuse me if I'm looking somewhere over there rather than into the camera lens. Gonna break the fourth wall here. Let's go into it. I was diagnosed with short-sightedness in my first years of elementary school. Later, astigmatism joined the party, and without going too much into detail, I ended up with something like 3.5 dioptries on one of my eyes and 2 3/4 on the other one, with some specialties on top. I was used to be putting glasses on first thing in the morning and setting them down last thing in the evening for 30 years of my life, basically. In my 20s, I considered contact lenses, but due to my specific eye condition, they were only suitable for one-time use, for specific events or activities like some historical reenactment or swimming and other sport stuff. But I still preferred to use glasses, and the contact lenses were not exactly comfortable for me to use. I was pretty comfortable using glasses, wearing them every day, but there were points where I'd be better without them. The idea of the corrective surgery was always there. It was suggested several times, but as a young adult, and I don't know if this is true, I was told that there is not yet the right technology to deal with my astigmatism. So I kept the glasses, and as I was totally used to them, and they were just part of my looks and my persona, I kept using those, and I left the idea of the surgery for a bit. In my first pregnancy, there was a significant change in my eyesight that actually caused me to lose the right hand wing mirror on my car, because suddenly I kept driving more to the right side somehow. I don't know what caused this exactly, but then there was a perceivable change in my short-sightedness after the first childbirth. I felt like the stuff in the distance was more blurry than before. I have to point out here that my eyesight for the distance was never perfect. Even with glasses, I sometimes had to squint to see things more clearly, to read signs in the distance. My doctor saw no significant change in my dioptries though, and she didn't recommend the eye operation to me, although I was again seriously considering undergoing it. She argued that I am pretty old for that, and that after 40th birthday it's pretty common to gain farsightedness or the need for reading glasses, so that it would be counterproductive to diminish the short-sighted dioptries in my age. Having glasses with small kids was not that fun. The last pair I had was all nice and it looked great on me, and it had this cool feature of the snap-on magnetic shades for sunglasses. Yet it was constantly raining down my nose. It got annoying. I had to touch it all the time, and it started bothering me way more. The previous ones got broken when I was hopping off a tram with a kiddo in a buggy, so those were busted. And what's more, the kids kept bumping into my face and my glasses every time we played or cuddled, so it was not pleasant anymore. So I decided, after we had our second son and we don't plan on having any more kids, I decided that the surgery is again a plan. And I found out that my combination of eye condition is operable right now with recent technology. So I did a little survey amongst my friends, and in the baby wearing group I'm in, to get some information on it. I got a heap of information, lots of encouragement and recommendations to clinics, to doctors. I got some warnings as well, and there was also a clue that there might be a possible hurdle of breastfeeding, that they won't perform the surgery on a mother that's breastfeeding at that time. Even before that, I personally knew two friends who underwent such surgery years before, and they both strongly recommended it. They said they were so happy with the results, and those two were the true inspiration for me to really brave the thing and do it. So thanks to Meshi and to Ellie for that. I myself did a comparison of the available eye clinics. I compared the prices, their reviews, their web presentations, their web pages. Funnily enough, I found out that the clinics in Prague are, most of them, like all except one, concentrated in one part of Prague, one part of city, the southern-ish part, the District 4. So there were like 4 or 5 of them, all in the distance of 2 or 3 metro stations. So in the end, based on the web presentation and the recommendations and the testimonials of people, I chose the Cornea Lexum clinic, which had an online form that I filled and asked for a date of an examination. They called me the next day, and within 2 sentences they figured out I have small children and that I am still breastfeeding. At that point, Dan was just 1.5 years old. It was almost exactly a year ago, I think. Yeah, something like that. So they basically told me that I should call again when I'm done breastfeeding, and then we'll set up a date. So as I didn't want to end the breastfeeding sooner than I had sort of figured out in my mind, I waited, and I called them again this spring as I weaned Dan by the end of April. I got a date for the first examination and consultation. I spent a whole morning there with doing various instrument-assisted checks of the eyesight. Some were really interesting ones. There was one that was checking my space perception, or how do you call that? Anyways, really interesting. It also confirmed what I was feeling before, that although my right eye was the worst one of the two, my brain preferred to use that one when looking at stuff. So I already sort of knew that, but these examinations and checkups confirmed the thing. There was a consultation with a doctor at the end, and she explained that my eyes are totally compatible with the newest kind of surgery that they call ReLex Smile. That one consists of a very small incision in the cornea after a laser creates sort of a layer of a scarred tissue inside the cornea, and this piece of tissue is then taken out through the incision, thinning the cornea so that the focus point in the eye moves directly to the retina. I'm not going to go into details on the other operation types. There are more of them. There is the LASIK and some other ones. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering all of them. There are tons of informations on the web about them. There are videos of them. There are videos of doctors talking about them. So if you're interested, go check all of that out. It also differs locally a bit, I think. Read the technology that is available, basically. But I will describe my experience of the surgery later in this video, so be ready for that. I will warn you when that comes, if you have a problem with that. After that initial examination, the doctor suggested to redo the checkup in 2 months' time, approximately, just to be sure if the hormone levels did or did not change the results in the meantime, as it seems that prolactin and other maternal hormones that are active during breastfeeding and then diminish can make the retina thicker or swollen. That date was supposed to be by the end of July, and I hoped to then have the operation date by the end of August. I thought it would be great to use a week at the end of the summer vacation where the kiddos were supposed to have a summer kindergarten, so that I could have some rest alone at home during the days and then be ready and without glasses to go to our September vacay at Vysočina that I mentioned in one of my previous videos. In the end, I can see it was not the best idea, but at the time I was pretty annoyed when I called them about the dates and suddenly the first possible spot they had for the date for the checkup was in that last week of August, so it was clear at that point that the surgery would be later in autumn. The second checkup was really similar to the first one, complete with special eye drops at the end that make your pupils go wider, and the eyes are then pretty sensitive to light and also unable to see properly in the near distance. It was kind of trippy experience. The first time especially, they actually managed to put more of the eye drops in one of my eyes than the other, so that one of my pupils got bigger than the other. It was really funny on the way home. But it was okay. It was just a weird experience. I might have some pictures of that, but it's not too visible. Maybe I'll put it on screen. The doctor concluded that there are no changes in the results and that I was ready to undergo the surgery. So she answered all of my questions that I had, and then I got the date of October 29th to undergo the whole thing. It was basically a year since I decided to have the surgery, or even more than that, but finally I knew when it's going to happen. So I planned to take Tsaba with me, as they proposed that it would be great to have somebody else to take me back home after the surgery, as they knew that I wouldn't probably feel as well. And the plan was also to have the kiddos at kindergarten and kids club for that day and the day after, so that I could get the nap and rest that they recommend after the surgery. There was always the risk of them being sick or something, but it worked out in the end, although 2 weeks before they really were sickly, and even in the week just before the surgery I myself had quite a terrible cough. But thankfully it cleared up the weekend before. And the day before was a surprisingly beautiful autumn day. It cleared up after a week of gray skies. Suddenly it was all sunny. We spent part of the day caring for the graves of our family members, as it is the tradition over here around the All Saints' Day. And it was truly picturesque at the cemeteries. I'll put up a picture in here because it was just beautiful. That day in the afternoon I filmed the first short clip as a surgery-centered update, which I'll insert in here. a highly professional setup we have there. The weather turned amazing today. Just a quick update. It's the day before the eye operation. I am not fully realizing that fact for now. I don't think so. I just don't feel nervous. I also don't feel like it's tomorrow morning that I am supposed to get up and get there and get the operation. So I'm mostly occupying myself with finishing the summer freshness shawl, in fact, which is really almost done. I'm working on the border here, and this is what I have left. It's really a tiny bit. It's about, I don't know, 25 grams right now, or 20 grams. Oh, it's getting windy. Okay. I spent the last, I don't know, 15 rows, or like 3 or 4, yeah, about 4 of the color changes. I took measurements or weight of the remaining yarn along the way, and I realized that as last time that I was working with the Color Film Made shop yarn cake, there is extra yarn at the end. So yeah, but there will be enough to finish this, but I'm not sure I will be able to finish it today. So let's see. You've seen that was the time that I was occupying myself with the summer freshness shawl, which, as you already know from one of my videos, was something that really helped me to silence the nervous anticipation of the surgery. The next day in the morning, we took the kids to the kids club and kindergarten a bit earlier, as I got a call a few days before that the appointment time would actually move to an earlier hour. So we took the underground to the clinic. Then it was about a lot of waiting and again checkups similar to the ones before. So finally, after, I don't know, almost 2 hours, I think, they confirmed all the results, that they are the same as before and that they have all the information that they need for the surgery. They took me and one other patient up to a 4th floor where the surgery and waiting room were. There was a prep room and a locker room to leave my stuff in. There we got this sterile cover, overdressed thing, and a cap for our hair. We got checked by this kind nurse who confirmed our names again and who was in charge of the line of people going into the surgery room itself. She offered everyone a glass of water, a small chocolate, and a chill pill. And in my case, she saw in my documentation that I used to have some issues with anesthetics. So she checked my blood pressure, which was pretty low, as is usual for me, but it was pretty low. And she went to consult the surgeon doctor himself if she could actually give me the pill. I was still feeling pretty okay at this point. There were no physical signs of nervousness or anxiety, but I still accepted the pill when she returned with affirmative from the surgeon. The overarching feeling at this point was actually boredom, which is weird, but I was unable to occupy my hands with anything and even my eyes with watching anything, because at this point I left my glasses in the locker room as I was instructed. So I was seated in a comfortable chair waiting with my blurry, no glasses vision, but I still could see stuff, and through a set of 2 glass doors of a waiting room I had the direct view of the doors to the surgery room. So every now and then I saw a nurse usher in a new patient and lead out the one before that and lead that one into a darkened room which was to the side to recover. At this point, I'm actually going to describe the whole process of the surgery itself with some other stuff around it. So if you would like to skip this part of the video, I'll direct you to the timestamp over here and to the next chapter on the timeline of the video if you want to use that. When it was my turn to get properly ready for the surgery, the nurse took me to the darkened part of the waiting room, the one with the glass doors, and seated me there and administered 2 doses of anesthetic drops into my eyes. After the first dose, I could feel this slight tingling sensation in my eyelids, and especially in the edges of the eyelids. And at the second dose, when she came to give me that, it was apparent that the eyelids did not react with the usual blinking reflex. So I guess the anesthetics was working, and she confirmed that. In between the doses of those drops, I was told to keep my eyes closed, and at the end of the waiting period, the surgeon professor actually came into that waiting room, greeted me, and explained what he expected of me during the surgery, namely no movement, calm breathing, no speaking, and close following of his directions. So pretty easy. He was nice, he was kind, but he was really serious, so it started feeling like something actually. Then the nurse accompanied me into the surgery room, set me at the operation table, again confirmed my name, and helped me lay down on my back in the correct position. There was a small slot in the head part of the table which helped me to hold my head in the right place. Then the table turned 90 degrees like this and positioned me under the laser machine itself and at the hands of the surgeon, who was now seated behind or above my head. And at this point I sighed and got immediately told off for breathing this heavily under the machine. So, lesson learned. Since then I breathe calmly through my nose, making no noise at all, just doing what I was told to. The surgeon then told me he would start with my right eye, and he taped the left one closed. He positioned my head slightly to one side and taped 2 layers of a holding tape around my right eye before using this metal device to hold my eyelids apart. There were some more eye drops applied, and all this time I had this bright white light just above me, and I saw not much more than that, just the face of the surgeon and the nurse who was helping him. When all this prep work was done, the machine moved a bit and positioned me directly under the laser part. It was programmed exactly for my eye parameters, and there was a green dot inside it that I was supposed to look into, a small green light. The machine then pressed the laser part directly on against my eyeball and did this ticking and buzzing noise, and it performed the scarring of the tissue at this point, which from my point of view looked basically like the eyesight turning super milky foggy. Like I saw the light through it, but I couldn't find the exact spot where the green dot was, but I was told to still look to that point, so it was basically white all over, but I knew I had to still look up in the direction of the green light, although I couldn't see it at this point. This part was really quick. The setting up took way longer than that. The laser was really just a few moments. Right before this part, actually, I was thinking to myself that it might help to recite a poem or some sort of saying or a song in my mind, but funnily enough, my brain defaulted to a short piece of a fairy tale that our older son recently memorized from his bedtime book. Anyways, I recited like 3 sentences out of that before the machine finished this part of the process and moved again, so that I was again under that bright white light. It was right above me again, except now I was seeing it through this really milky layer of the cornea. I have to admit again, as I mentioned before in another video, that I did watch a real life video of this type of surgery about a week before my surgery. It was not a good idea, and I sort of hoped to not be able to think back to it while it was happening to me, as the visual was not pleasant. It was exactly the part that was coming now that I was fearing most. The surgeon had to separate the scarred layer from the rest of the cornea and take it out through the incision. I won't be describing exactly how that is done. You can look it up if you wish, but it's this part that made my skin crawl when watching it. However, at this point of my own operation, the surgeon applied drops and some more anesthetic with sort of a brush on the eye and told me to follow the white light, which now started moving around, to follow it with my eye. This helped immensely. I couldn't understand at that point, but it was suddenly a task that I could focus on, and although I knew exactly what he's doing at that time, it helped me to not freak out. It helped me to focus on something and not think about the tiny tools reaching into my cornea, basically. Thankfully, it was over in a few moments and I could see him suddenly, and the nurse as well, again, the moment he took the tissue out through the incision out of the eye. Then the same thing got repeated on my left eye. This time the pressing of the laser to my eyeball felt less comfortable. There was more pressure, or so I felt, but otherwise it was all basically the same, and I found myself actually looking forward to the moment where the surgeon asks me to follow the white light around. So throughout the whole process I never felt any pain, and the pressure of the laser on my left eye was probably the least comfortable thing of the whole process, and that was in itself pretty mild. So pain-wise, I wouldn't fear anything if you're considering this kind of surgery. When all of this was done and all of the tapes were removed from my face, the table moved again away from the machine, and the nurse helped me first sit up and then stand up again. Carefully, of course, they are taking care that you don't fall or anything. The surgeon stood up as well. He told me that everything went well during the surgery, and he wished me a speedy recovery. I thanked him, and the nurse led me to that darkened recovery room next door. There I sat for a while before the waiting room nurse came in to check if I feel alright and to give me some more eye drops, which I suppose were meant to wash the anesthetics out. She then came again to let me out to the changing room, to the lockers, and to give me a small paper bag which had antibiotics and moisturizing drops in it, saying also there is a paper with more instructions in the bag explaining the basics of taking the antibiotics, like the time period and all that stuff. Then she let me take the sterile overdress and the cap off and pick my stuff from the locker, put my shoes on, and she recommended putting on the sunglasses that they always tell you to take with you. So I did all of that, and she told me to wait for a receptionist who would take me back down to the waiting room in the public part of the clinic. This receptionist came actually before I could even put my shoes on. She checked again if I felt okay and took me to the 3rd floor waiting room. We were originally in the 2nd floor with Saba, so she called the other reception to send him up to me. He was there in a short bit and we set out. It took us a short while to get out of the building, and so far I was feeling pretty okay. My eyesight at this point was a bit blurry and weird in the sense of the widened pupils, though it was already visibly better than my former eyesight without glasses. Once we stepped out of the building, though, it started feeling pretty bad. I was not expecting that, honestly. The vision itself was not the problem, but the feeling in the upper area of my face was an issue. It felt numb and weird and sort of prickly or tingling, and we needed to get some groceries. I wanted to get something sweet for my blood sugar at that point, so we took a quick turn through a grocery store which was nearby, but even there I was at points walking with my eyes closed, with Saba leading me around. And after that I sat on the floor in a calm corner of the department store while Saba was getting diapers for Dan, and I ate my donut and waited for him with my eyes closed again. And when he picked me up, we just headed to the underground and traveled home. At points on this whole journey, I felt something akin to motion sickness. Basically, I felt nauseous at points. The eyes definitely didn't want to stay open, not out of tiredness, but because of a bunch of unpleasant feelings, basically. I think I described that pretty well in a clip that I took that day after getting home and getting a nap. And the way I felt is pretty obvious from my way of talking there, I believe. So let's watch that one. Hi, hello. I'm outside again. I'm after this surgery, after a nap. And I do see stuff, which is great. But I have this haze all around. It's like when you have the glasses on, it's like when you have them dirty a bit. So that's something that should clear away. In a bit. I hope overnight. I have a checkup tomorrow and I'm feeling quite okay. It was not great. Before the nap, I had... it was like you have a lot of tears and remainders of tears in your eyes. It was not itchy, it was like... it made me tear up. It was this sort of burning feeling. Oh, amazing. When we were going back from the surgery, I had Saba with me. It felt like I just want to have the eyes shut, not look at anything, not see anything. I was, they were reacting to the light. I didn't want to have light in my eyes, and I had them tearing up and having this burning feeling, sort of, or like it was acidic or something. Anyways, we got home. I felt a bit nauseous, and I think that was because of the anesthetics that got from my eyes to the upper part of my face, and my brain was confused about that. So yeah, but I had a nap, and after that I felt much better. It's not burning or itching or being acidic right now. I just have this small feeling of something in my eyes at these sides, like when you have a lash in your eye or something, but that should go away in a few days. And I have eye drops, one with antibiotics and one just artificial tears, or how it's called, fake tears. So that helps a lot to moisturize it and just let it tear out. So for now I should be careful about looking at stuff in the close-up, and in the distance I should do this training. I should ask about that. I didn't get information about that, so I will ask about that during the checkup. But yeah, for now reading stuff from my phone is a bit hazy, and the distance stuff is okay. I can see that I can see, but it's not absolutely clear. So I'm hoping it gets clear tomorrow or very soon. So I'll let you know then. I'll make an update and talk about the experience a little bit more, I hope. So for now, have a great time. Goodbye, and I'll see you in a bit. So, as you heard me say, I took a nap after getting home and after eating a sandwich for lunch. At that point, I also checked the contents of the paper bag that they gave me with the eye drops and the instructions. There were also extra sunglasses as well. And one thing that made me laugh really out loud, there was a publicity item in it with the logo of the clinic on it, which the sunglasses were also stamped with the logo. There was this small glass nail file, like this big. I mean, at that point I saw it as a display of a very dark humor. But as I was not inclined to stab my eyes out after the nap that I got right after, and the feeling of the little something in my eyes went away the very next day, I was quite content to wait for my vision to clear up. I was none of the magical, my vision cleared up and was really perfect the very next day experience that some people share about this kind of surgery. And to be honest, I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't so, but I had the checkup the very next day, and although I sort of complained to the doctor that stuff is fuzzy, she made me read the classic letters optometrist board and was really content with the way that I was able to discern them, although I felt like it was rubbish. So she also checked my eyes for any signs of damage from the surgery or, I guess, scarring, and she said it's all absolutely okay. I also noticed on the letterboard that one eye was better than the other. She said that is entirely possible and that it will take the brain a bit to adjust and the eyes as well. I was not completely satisfied with the state of my eyes at that point, and I had some extra questions, and she answered everything with a realistic view of what I should expect, even in a long term, the possibilities of development, in older age and all that. There was no specific instruction about exercising the eyes, about training them to focus or anything, just to do stuff as usual. And the way the vision felt at this point is pretty well described in this next clip that I took the day after that. Hi, hello. Just a quick update. I think I will edit all of these together, but it's the second day after the surgery. Yesterday I went to get a checkup right after. You done? Yeah? Yeah, yesterday I went for the checkup after the surgery. Everything is okay with my eyes. There is no defect from the surgery or anything, but the vision is still not 100%. It feels like I'd need half dioptry glasses for now, or it's weird. I can see clearly. I can see stuff in the distance that I wasn't able to see before that without glasses. I can read the, how do you call them, license plates on the cars and all that stuff. I can see the buildings in the distance, but everything has this slight haze around it, and it's most visible on the lights at night when, for example, the street lamp has this half a circle shape, and I'm looking at it. I see the half circle of light there, and I see another bunch of half circles, very faint, all around it. So the light is a bit splattered out or something. It's weird. It's sometimes really confusing that I can see so clearly, and yet it's not perfect. So I hope it gets perfect. The doctor that I saw yesterday said that it might take 2 weeks to settle down and another 2 to 3 months to normalize completely. So I'll see about it. I'll wait with the update to the day that it looks better, I guess, but I want to document a bit here and there along the way so that I don't get lost afterwards. So yeah, that's it. That's for the second day after surgery, or I guess 2 days. Yeah, 2 days after surgery. Today is Thursday. Surgery was on Tuesday. So yeah. So this is the state of things for now. It seems to be giving me a headache almost every day. First day there wasn't one, but yesterday I had to take a pill for a headache, and it seems like one is creeping in right now. So I guess it's the changed vision that causes this, and I hope that also calms down. So for now, that's it, and I'll see you in a few days and tell you how it's going. As I mentioned, I tried to rest a bit more than usual the day after the surgery. I limited my screen time and I didn't really crochet or craft anything. But I realized pretty quickly that's not actually needed, that it's not strictly necessary to do it. Even the doctor said there is actually no limitation, only that watching of screens will make the eyes tired easier or sooner. So I was careful, but after the first 2 days I continued as usual, taking care of the kiddos, of course, the household, spending time outside with kiddos and watching videos and doing my hobbies at home. The vision was quite good at this point, but not perfect. The eyes got tired at points and I had the antibiotic drops still for the first week after the surgery. I had to take those every 3 hours of the awake time, and sometimes, some days, I got impatient with the results of the surgery. There were also days, or better said, moments, where I doubted if there was possibly not, in fact, something done poorly during the eye surgery. There were some mixed feelings, to say it shortly. This is what I recorded almost a week after the surgery, and then there is another clip of 2 weeks after the surgery that we are going to watch now. Hello, it's me again with an update about the eyes after the surgery. It's almost a week after. It's Monday. The surgery was last Tuesday, so tomorrow it's going to be a week. I still am not at 100% eyesight. I mean, I can see stuff, no problem. As I said in the updates before, I have quite a clear vision to the distance and to the close-up, or short distance as well, but there is still a bit of this haze around things. The ones in the distance are this sort of, I can see them clear enough, but not absolutely clear. And it's at that point of, maybe if I was going to meet someone, I could see the person over there, of course, but I am not able to discern the face at longer distance. And maybe I'm putting like too high standards to that, but with my eyes before the surgery, with my glasses, I could see the same thing, or I'm expecting to see the same way as I did with my glasses before the surgery. So it's not at that point yet. And it can still take some time. It's okay. I can see clearly enough. It's absolutely alright. On the computer or on the screen of my phone, I can already see almost without that haze that I mentioned before. There is a little bit of it. It depends on the tiredness of my eyes. So it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm looking at something on my computer for a longer period of time and then look away, it's sort of weird. Or if there is not enough light, it gets a bit worse. And when I'm tired, of course, overall it gets worse. Also, I'm supposed to still be using that antibiotic drops, and I am using those. And also I'm supposed to use the general tier eye drops generously, and sometimes I'm forgetting about that. So I have a reminder on my phone for the antibiotics one, and I think after that ends tomorrow, I'll have an hourly reminder to get those tear drops. So I think I'll sort it this way. and I bought myself over there two bottles of the eye drops to just have a supply, because the first bottle seems like it's running out, so I will be needing those for another month or two, so I'll just have this supply and use it as much as I can, because every time after using the drops it gets better. So that's fine. I think that will be all okay. I'm still careful about touching my eyes. I got told not to rub them, and be careful about getting shampoo or water into them when I'm taking a shower. I can't go swimming, which I'm normally going every week with Danik, with our smaller one, to kiddo swimming, sort of, or kiddo playing in in the swimming pool. So I can't do that, but I have appointed my father to take him there, and it was already scheduled for Friday last week, but kiddo got sick again, so we had to cancel that. So I'm hoping this week it's gonna work out. We'll see about that. So yeah, that's how the eyes are looking for now. I'm taking it easy. I'm trying to take it easy. I am a bit disappointed in the fact that it didn't like clear up the second day or something, and that I don't have the perfect vision yet. But I'm trying to keep calm and just wait for it to settle down. So fingers crossed that happens soon. I already can see the difference from like Thursday or Friday last week. I think it was yesterday morning that I noticed the far vision is way better already. So it's getting better. There is still that thing that I can see the splatters of light around the lights. That's where it's most visible, the unclearness of the vision. But yeah, it should get better, and I'm trying to be patient. So that's it. That's for the update now. I will keep these updates, as I said, for the time that it really gets better, or I hope the best it could be. So I'll save this, and I'll try to update you in the meantime about my Craftsy stuff. So goodbye for now, and I bet there will be another clip after this one. So bye. Hi, hello. Another update about the eyes. It's almost 2 weeks now from this surgery, and the eyesight is getting better. I can see that. I can see clearly almost all of the stuff. So it will be soon time for the wrap-up, probably update video where I talk about the surgery itself. But I need to sort my thoughts about that. And for now, there is still some blurriness to the vision, but what I noticed is it's mostly due to the dryness of the eyes. I have those drops to hydrate my eyes, or how should I call it, to just have enough liquid in there. And the eyes without these drops just dry out pretty quickly. It's kind of annoying. It sometimes feels like the times when I had the contact lenses and I had them in my eyes for too long a time, and it blocked my tear production somehow, and it felt like not itchy, but sticky, sort of sticky. So sticky. So yeah, it would help to use the drops like every 3 minutes or something. But I'm trying to use them a few times an hour. Whenever I remember to, I'm considering putting a timer on my phone to just remember using those. And I'm still trying not to touch my eyes too much, not to rub them, but I think it's already okay to do that. Not too much, but I think it's okay. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's better. It really got better. Still, I can't say it's 100%. There is this slight blurriness both in far and up close when the eyes are tired and dry. But I'm trying to deal with that. And so far it's actually pretty amazing to see stuff clearly in situations where I wasn't used to see stuff clearly. You know, such things like going to take a shower and being in the shower and seeing the stuff in the bathroom clearly. Because obviously before I had to take my glasses off to take a shower, and after the shower they would fog up, you know, so that's one thing that I didn't know I wouldn't miss, and that's fogging up of the glasses. It's starting to get really cold around here, well, not really cold, but around 0 Celsius, and it's foggy outside, and this is exactly the weather where I would go outside and have a scarf around my neck and breathe into that scarf, basically, to have my part of my face covered, and it would always fog up my glasses, and that's not going to happen now, so that's great. And also after that shower, because I'm taking hot showers, and if I wanted to, I don't know, cut my nails after taking shower and I needed to put my glasses on for that, they would fog up and I couldn't do that in the bathroom, you know. And it's so funny. I noticed it just yesterday. I'm taking the shower and I'm looking down at my feet and I can see my toes clearly. And that's something that never happened before, basically. So it's so weird. And I'm so looking forward to the moment that I'm allowed to go to the swimming pool. To go to swimming with Dan or just go by myself and see clearly around the pool and see the water around me, you know, the waves and everything clearly. It's tough to explain, but that's something that just is so precious to me. I don't know why. It's something that's really important and sort of emotional. I don't know why. I love water. That's one thing, but you know, that's I experienced that several times when I had contact lenses while being in the pool, but this time without the contact lenses, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm gonna brave driving the car today, first time since the surgery, so just going to get groceries, but I want to do that. I feel confident it's alright now. I didn't want to do that last week, so I'll see about that. And yeah, that's about it. I spent several days in the past week working on decluttering stuff in our flat and mostly in my late granny's flat, and it was dusty and I was afraid if it's gonna hurt the eyes or something. It did not. I just needed the eye drops. I just needed to use them frequently, but I need to do that anyways. So yeah, now there's a feeling of something in my eye. Yeah, it's okay. I had one case where that feeling of something in my eye returned, and I thought that it's something connected to the surgery, and it was actually a lash that didn't fall into my eye but was turned inside. So that was real. Yeah, But that's about it, about the eyes for now, and I think I'll do the update in maybe a week if I have the time to do that and tell you everything about the surgery. So possibly there is next clip with me talking about that. So let's see. As I mentioned in those clips, the vision got momentarily better every time I applied the moisturizing drops. Issue was I was not really consistent with those for a few days after finishing up the antibiotics. Once I fully realized that, I tried to do better, and for a few days last week I actually had a reminder on my phone for every 15 minutes to use the moisturizing drops. Marek even learned to bring me the drops from my table if I was not there when the phone beeped, so that was quite funny. But it got pretty annoying really soon. So now I'm just using them whenever I feel I need them. I have to remember to take them with me when I'm going outside, but it helps. It really visibly changes the vision when I take them, and it helps the eye to not get as tired. So right after the 2 weeks mark, I noticed a new improvement in my eyesight, in the vision. Right up to that day, I sometimes joked about it being foggy, especially in the mornings, because there was a real foggy weather, and every morning it was like a milk soup outside. But there was a speck of bitterness in that joke of mine, because the vision still did not feel perfect or good enough, and I was still fearing if it's going to clear up enough. But that Tuesday, that was 2 weeks after the surgery, I took my parents' dog for an evening walk, late in the evening, in the dark, and at that point I noticed a huge difference in my eyesight. It was dark, there were street lights on, and yet the contrast of the dark places in the shadows and the light places was not as stark as I was used to it being before when I was wearing my glasses. And most importantly, even in this challenging lighting, I didn't need to squint to see the stuff in the distance really clearly, which before at night I really needed to do that, or I saw it a tiny bit blurry. This past weekend I drove our car to Tsaba's parents and back with no issue other than the splatter around the lights, which for sure is a bit annoying, but it's not dangerous, it's not too bad. It, funnily enough, very much differs to the way it's sometimes shown in pictures, because this effect is something that's really common after this kind of eye surgery, but it's often displayed as this cross-shaped combination of light rays around the main light, and it doesn't look like that for me, as I described it in one of those clips. If anything, it used to look like that for me before the surgery with my glasses. So I don't know, but this effect is normal, as I'm told, and it should go away in those 2 to 3 months. So I hope it will eventually go away and it will be all okay. So far, that is my final update for now. It looks like the vision cleared up really well in the 3 weeks after surgery. The greatest leap was in this past week, so from 2 weeks after to 3 weeks after, basically. I'm still waiting for the eyes to not dry up so easily or get tired so quickly, but that really should get better in a few more weeks or in that 2 to 3 months period. The eyesight itself is really great right now. I dare even say that it is better than with glasses before surgery. I was told that the near vision is going to be different, that I won't be able to do like this minute stuff right before my eyes. And even before surgery, that was only just some tiny beadwork that I needed to do like that. So far, every Craftsy scale that I tried was no issue with the normal face to hands distance, and it's pretty okay up to, I don't know, like here, so I don't know how much that is, 10 centimeters maybe. So that's it basically. To conclude, I think it was a good decision to do this. I am sort of sorry I had to wait like that, but I think it was good timing actually. I believe it could be even a speck better, but I think it will get there, and I think it will make my life way easier, and it will make certain moments much more enjoyable. As I said in one of those clips, I already appreciate those strange moments of clear vision that I never knew I missed, really. And I'm getting used to seeing my own face without the glasses, which was something I was used to know basically my whole life. I still have moments of the muscle memory reaching for the glasses at some points when they're no longer needed. That is especially when I'm getting out of bed. I used to put my glasses there and I don't even do the movement. Just my brain says, take the glasses. And they're not there and I don't need them. I can see at that point, so it's funny. Overall, I think I could recommend undergoing this surgery even at the age I'm at. I'm 37. And if you're considering it, I'd say go for it. They now say that the pregnancies and childbirth actually don't change the eyesight permanently. So previously it was said to wait after your planned number of children. Now they say it doesn't really matter. So go for it, I'd say. I will definitely have more updates on this later, probably in my regular videos. I don't think this basic feeling of it being worth it changes. Just if you do it, be patient. The results really didn't come overnight for me, although they did for other people, so it's definitely possible. For now, thank you all for watching and following through. I hope you learned what you needed to. I hope you had great time and enjoyed just following me talking about this while working on your Craftsy project maybe. And if you did, let me know what it was and if it was enjoyable or tedious. For now, have a great day. Enjoy crafting, enjoy creating, and enjoy the colors. Goodbye. Due to my specific, so the doctor, I was still, it was thankfully, the receptionist, the little something in my eyes and and as I mentioned,